Autumn 1943. The European continent was drowning in the blood of the Second World War. Millions were fighting on the front lines, but another war was being waged in the shadows, a war of whispers, espionage, and secrets. In the heart of the Third Reich, one man stumbled upon a secret so devastating it could have handed Adolf Hitler the world on a silver platter. And this man decided he could no longer stay silent. His name was Dr. Wilhelm Kessler, a brilliant physicist working deep within the German military-industrial complex. Officially, he was developing guidance systems for the V-2 rockets. Unofficially, he was the lead architect of Project Nachtnebel, Night Fog. It wasn't just an explosive. It was a radiological dirty bomb designed to be dropped on London, rendering the city uninhabitable for 1,000 years. Kessler knew the weapon was only months away from completion. Kessler knew he had to get the blueprints to the Allies, but the Gestapo was watching his every move. He used a dead drop in a Berlin cafe, slipping a microfilm canister into a hollowed-out chess piece. Through a network of French resistance fighters, the package made its way to British intelligence at MI6. The message was clear: I have the plans. Get me out, or millions will die. Winston Churchill read the dossier and immediately authorized Operation Silent Rook. This was a suicide mission. They needed to extract a high-value target from a heavily guarded chateau in occupied France, where Kessler had been moved for his protection. The team selected for this impossible task was Vanguard 7, a six-man squad of elite British commandos led by Major Thomas Croft, a man who specialized in making the impossible happen. On a moonless night in November, Vanguard 7 parachuted into the dense forests of the Loire Valley. They jumped blind, navigating only by the pale light of the stars. The wind was fierce, scattering the team across enemy lines. They landed miles from their target zone, surrounded by German patrols. Radio silence was absolute. If they were caught, London would deny they ever existed. After a tense 12-hour march through hostile territory, Croft and his men rendezvoused with the Maquis, the French resistance. They were met by a woman known only as Odetta. She brought grim news. The SS had grown suspicious of Kessler. They were preparing to move him back to Berlin at first light. Vanguard 7 didn't have days to plan. They had exactly 4 hours to breach an impenetrable fortress. The chateau was a nightmare of security. Searchlights swept the perimeter, machine gun nests guarded the gates, and dozens of SS soldiers patrolled the grounds. A direct assault was out of question. Odette led the commandos to an ancient, forgotten wine cellar that connected to the chateau's foundation. Slipping through the cold, damp stone, they moved like ghosts beneath the feet of the enemy. Croft and 2 of his best men infiltrated the main building through a servant's stairwell. Using silenced weapons and lethal precision, they neutralized the guards in the corridors. They found Dr. Kessler in his study, feverishly burning his secondary notes. He was terrified, trembling as he handed Croft a small leather pouch containing the final blueprints. "Take them," Kessler whispered, "before the darkness swallows us all." They were halfway back to the cellars when a routine guard rotation discovered a body. The shrill, deafening wail of the chateau's emergency light system shattered the silence of the night. Red emergency lights flooded the hallways. Dogs began to bark wildly in the courtyard. The stealth mission had just turned into a desperate fight for survival. The SS began swarming the corridors, trapping Vanguard 7 inside. Trapped near the grand foyer, the commandos had to shoot their way out. Submachine gun fire echoed through the opulent halls, shattering ancient chandeliers and tearing through priceless paintings. Croft laid down suppressive fire, his men shielding Dr. Kessler with their own bodies. Every inch of ground was paid for in blood and brass casings. They broke through the kitchen and back into the subterranean tunnels, but the Germans were right behind them. The tunnels were a maze of dead ends. One of Croft's men, a demolition expert named Miller, took a bullet to the chest. Knowing he couldn't make the run, Miller ordered the team to keep moving. He stayed behind, holding the choke point with a machine gun and a bandolier of explosives. As Croft and Kessler and the surviving team members reached the forest edge, a massive explosion rocked the earth beneath them. The tunnel collapsed in a cloud of dust and fire. Miller had detonated his charges, burying the SS pursuit squad and himself under tons of rubble. He had bought them the one thing they needed: time. They sprinted through the tree line toward a makeshift muddy runway illuminated only by resistance fighters holding flashlights. Waiting for them was a blacked-out Westland Lysander aircraft, its engine already roaring. Croft practically threw Kessler into the passenger seat as German armored vehicles burst from the forest, firing wildly. The small plane pulled up, banking sharply into the clouds, just as tracers tore through the air where it had been seconds before. Operation Silent Rook was a success. 2 days later, Allied bombers, using Kessler's blueprints, obliterated the Project Nachtnebel facility in a precision strike. Millions of lives were saved. Dr. Kessler lived the rest of his life under an assumed name, haunted by the weapons he had designed. And the men of Vanguard 7, they simply vanished back into the shadows, unsung heroes who traded their lives for the survival of the free world.